how much does it cost to do it yourself, and how much does it cost to hire a property manager?
Good question. So let's start with the property manager. So the two most common fees with the property management company are the monthly management fee. Depending on your state, it's going to be between 8 to 12%. And then there's a placement fee, which is the cost to place residents in your home, do all the marketing, tours, listing. So that's between 50% to 100% of 1 month. Let's say your home rents for $2,000 a month. Your management fee every month is going to be $200. So you're paying about $2,400 year one for that. With your placement fee, let's say it's just 50% of 1 month's rent, $1,000. Now you're in at $3,400. Some companies charge renewal fees. So at the end of year one, if the residents renew, it could be like $300. Now you're in $2,700. This does not include any maintenance. If there's maintenance on your home, typically what happens is they give you a free pricing analysis, inspect your home, and come back with a list of things that you need to repair in order for the home to be rent ready. Typically that can cost a few $1,000s. Again, it's a business, so they charge a markup on anything, 10 to 50%, I would say. So year one alone with the property manager, I'd expect you to be spending between $4 to $6 grand, unless you have a brand new build and there's nothing that needs to be repaired. After year one, assuming they renew, again, the key is placement. If your residents leave, it gets really expensive. You're looking at a minimum $2,400 to $3,000 every year after that. If you're going to do it yourself, your costs aren't so much monetary, it's time. So you are spending in the pre-leasing stage, I would say at least 10 to 20 hours your first month, getting everything ready, doing photos, doing all the tours. In terms of capital, you'll be spending money for photos, cleaning, all the maintenance items. The only difference is there's no markup. You're just paying whatever it is. The downside is you don't have the vendor network or handyman that a property management company does. And then any software, there's tons of softwares out there that you can use. Some cost money, some don't, but I would say maybe you'd be spending $500 to $1,500 to get your home rent ready, and for software if you self-manage. So you're going to save around 70% of the cost by self-managing. Just year one. The way you make your money self-managing is not just in year one, but year 2, year 3, year 4. I mean, if you do it all yourself and you do it right, then you really have nothing else to spend. I mean, I spend less than 30 minutes a month managing 2 rental properties, but I have a system and I'm a veteran at doing this. So I really haven't spent much capital at all on my properties because I did it right the first time.
How time consuming can it get if you don't do it right?
Extremely. Like my example earlier of like the fan falling from the ceiling, I kept having issues like that. We had a plumbing leak from the ceiling in the bathroom. We had to get insurance involved. We were dealing with the neighbor's tenants. I was spending hours every week on top of my full-time job. The biggest thing was just the mental load, peace of mind of constantly worrying about my rental and if my phone would ring, like what issue my tenant was going to report. I would say that is the biggest issue. It could easily take 10 to 20 hours for an escalated situation if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to resolve it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So in that kind of a case, it could be either really beneficial or not very beneficial to have like a property manager in that case.
Yeah,
depending on how much time it's actually taking you.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people delegate, because to them it's not worth saving, the thousands of dollars that they will each year, because they want someone else to deal with the headache of the phone call and finding someone to fix it and then going out there to handle it. Makes sense. No one likes dealing with that. However, for some people, it's worth saving that money. And some actually enjoy going out there and handling it. But the reality is all the issues that can come during a lease, most of them are completely preventable. So if you can prevent most of these issues from happening, you enter what I call like the coasting stage. Once your residents are placed and they're on auto pay, your job is just to make sure that rent hit your bank account, and that's it. And then work on the renewal when it comes. Most of my clients that I have, that's what they get to. After the first 6 weeks of the lease, they're just coasting and they can focus on their family, focus on their jobs. That's what landlording should.
How time consuming is it really when you have a property manager in place? Because a lot of people feel like they're still going to get all the calls. They're still going to have to deal with going out there. Does a property manager take care of everything, or does a landlord still have to take care of a couple of things?
So unfortunately in the industry, there's a lot of managing your property manager, and you kind of have to shop around for them, and you might end up firing 1 or 2 before you find one that works for you. So they will handle a lot of it. It just depends on the guidelines they set. So for example, maintenance is a huge pain point, because when you get your payout, you see deductions, and some landlords are like, well, I want to be told about anything you're going to do in my home, any deduction, no matter what. And you have other landlords are like, I don't care. Just take care of my home. Don't bother me. So you need to find a property manager that is willing to work with your criteria. For example, one thing that I like to see is like a $500 threshold of like, if it's under $500, we're not going to bug you about it. We're going to make the judgment call and do it. If it's over that, we'll give you a courtesy call to say, hey, this is what happened. This is going to be the cost. Do you approve? That's typically the solution. That way, those are the only phone calls you're getting.